Hello?
Is Brenda there?
Justin. Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good.
What's going on?
Nothing much. Just
How long is this interview going to take me about?
I have a lot of questions, actually. I don't know exactly.
Let's start right now, because I got another appointment, baby.
Okay.
Come on, hon, let's do it.
All right. So you grew up in New York City, right?
Yes.
What part specifically?
Manhattan, West 90th Street.
What was it like growing up there?
It was the Wise Tower Projects. It was great. It was very down to earth. It was, very middle class, and a lot of activities going on because it was a minority society.
Yeah. Okay. And you grew up in a big family, like 5 siblings?
5 brothers and 1 sister. Myself is 7.
Okay. You were the youngest child, right?
Yeah, the youngest was 7.
Was it hard being the youngest child, or what was the household like?
It was very chaotic, but it was a lot of fun. It wasn't hard at all, actually. I got a lot of attention.
Yeah. So I find your cultural background really fascinating. Was that ever, did you ever meet with any prejudices or anything growing up?
Any what, presidents?
Any prejudice?
Oh, prejudice.
Yeah. Or any tough situations either growing up or in the industry?
Not at all, because actually in my neighborhood it's a mixed neighborhood. Blacks, whites, Puerto Ricans, Asians, and everyone got along. It wasn't a prejudice environment at all.
That's
as for the music industry, when meeting people, I never felt intimidated because I was always taught to be proud of who I am.
Yeah. So what was your first musical experience?
I did a show called The Early Show.
Uh-huh.
And it was like an off-Broadway show, and I did a lot of cover Broadway tunes. Covered a lot of Broadway tunes, and my song was Where the Boys Are. So that was one of my first experiences, as well as when I was about 12 years old, my mom took me to a recording studio called Dimensional Sound, and she paid for me to have my first demo done.
Oh, okay.
Love on a Two-Way Street.
Yeah. So when did you know that music was what you wanted to pursue?
Oh, as long as I could open my mouth and sing.
Really?
I don't even remember I was at an age saying I want to be a singer. I knew I grew up thinking it.
Yeah.
Probably 5 or 6, I kept singing and singing and singing and just kept pursuing it. Never had another goal in mind.
Yeah. You also did some acting, didn't you, like before you got really into the music business?
I did a movie when I was 9 and a movie when I was 11. I did Slow Dancing in a Big City with John D. Allison, who did Rocky, Karate Kid, and then I did Squeeze Play with a guy named Lloyd Kaufman.
Yeah.
And I did a La Shake La Yoga commercial when I was about 14.
So is acting something that you'd still want to pursue at some
point? Of course, but it's not my main goal. I mean, I think my priority is in music right now. Besides my children being my priority.
So how did you originally hook up with Mirage Records when you did your first record?
I was actually in a breakdance group called the Dynamic Dolls. And a gentleman by the name of Nelson Cruz.
Okay.
He saw me singing on a big breakdance contest. It was a preview. And then I saw him about 3 nights later at a club, and he asked me, did I have a record deal? And I said no. And he said, well, I want you to meet someone. So, of course, you get very leery about going anywhere with a man, because I was young. I was only 4 to be 15.
Yeah.
So I told him to give me his number, and my mom would call him. And my mom had my aunt call.
Yeah.
And my aunt went with me to the meeting, meet the president of Mirage Records.
Right. And
then thereon, I got a deal that next day.
So what caused your move to MCA after that?
The label folded, which means it closed.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, maybe.
Kate Hyman, whom was the A&R lady, and I had met before, and she always told me if I needed a deal, she would be more than happy to give me a deal wherever she was at.
Yeah.
I happened to be at that time at MCA, and I hooked up with her, and I was able to arrange to be put on her label, and I was given that opportunity. After
MCA, you moved to Epic, right?
Right.
So what's the deal with that? Because I know it came out and then it was one single and nothing after that.
The reason why I only had one single on that Epic record was because their roster musically was overflowed, and they were just letting go of a lot of different artists.
Yeah.
And they decided that they needed to let me go, which it didn't intimidate me. It just made me more, it just gave me more of an incentive to pursue my career a lot more, because I didn't want anyone to tell me that I couldn't do it when I wanted to do it.
Yeah.
So I basically let them let me go, and I kind of like took it like a grain of salt and just moved on. And it gave me some time to regroup and step back and see what it was I really wanted to do with myself musically.
Yeah. Well, I just want to let you know, like, probably my favorite song by you is "Never Let You Go" on that
I wrote
album.
that song.
Yeah, I noticed it, and you know, I sing that a lot around the
I
house.
thought that song should have been a single, and
So did I.
I was very upset that I was never really given creative control with the Epic album.
Yeah.
The time that I was given creative control, I was the one who insisted that we had What Goes On and Never Let You Go put on that album, which I think were the two strongest songs on that whole album.
Yeah. So let's see. You know, are you familiar? There was a group called Cues in Effect a couple years ago that redid that song.
What?
"Never Let You Go."
No, how'd it sound?
It sounded a lot like your version. I guess it's a group of teenage girls. They were from Brooklyn, I think, and they were on an independent label called Southside Records, and they did that song. And so let's see. One of the things that good about your career, you've managed to stay in the business and raise a family at the same time.
Right.
How do you balance the two?
I actually give my children the weekdays.
Uh-huh.
I take my daughters to school, pick them up. I do activities with them. I'm part of a PTA in my daughter's school, my older daughter's school.
Oh, okay.
I'm very active with my children in learning because I feel it's very important for their future.
Yeah.
And I basically run my musical schedule on Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays. I usually do records, like shows and stuff,
Yeah.
and I bring my older daughter with me and the babies with me all day long. So that quality time she'll spend with her grandmother on the weekends, and I pick them up in the evening, and you know, I basically make time.
Yeah.
For everything.
So, what inspired you to start your own record label?
Just all the chaos and crap other labels were giving me. How they weren't letting me be myself, and how they just didn't have room on the roster. And it's just, after a while, you just believe, you know, if I'm talented, it's going to happen some way or another. I just found out yesterday that the new song "Thank You" is #2 on the dance charts in some the gay clubs.
Cool. So, did you name it after your daughter?
Thank You, yeah.
No, I mean the Faith Records.
Oh yeah, I named it after my older daughter, and my publishing company is named after my youngest daughter, which is Torre Music.
Oh, okay.
Her name is Tori Ray.
Yeah.
I mean Tori Alexis, but I called it Tori Ray because when she gets older and she does her confirmation, I want to give her a confirmation name, Ray.
Oh, okay, cool.
I wanted to give her that name when she was born, but her older sister wanted to give her Alexis. So I changed it.
Okay, so how did you come in contact with Substance and GMI Entertainment?
Well, the truth of the matter is, Jeff Lampiazzi is my lawyer, and his wife is Karen Gibson.
Yeah.
And Jeff and I were talking for months, and I told him I wanted to start my own label, but it's fun. It's just very expensive to do it on your own, but I needed a partner, and he said his wife wanted to start a label also.
Yeah.
We hooked up, and it's been great since.
Were there any processes that you had to go through that were specifically hard in starting a label?
No, you just basically have to incorporate yourself first,
Mm-hmm.
and then you basically have to start finding producers. And I don't find anything that has to do with my career hard because I want it to work. So whatever it takes, I'm going to do.
Yeah. So, so do you see this like as a long-term thing? I mean, can you ever see yourself like going to a major label, or do you plan?
Yes, definitely. This is just to get me back out there and make some noise. And of course, I won't be able to circulate the sales that a major label would do. But if I can make the noise that I need to make, then I'll have a major pick me up, hopefully. And I don't feel discouraged that it won't happen because I sure deserve it.
Yeah. So are you planning on signing other artists to your label?
I'd like to, but I'm right now focusing on myself.
Yeah. Okay, so how far are you into recording your new album?
January.
Oh, it's going to be out by then?
And hopefully by January. We're talking about January. We've already got like 8 or 9 of the tunes.
Oh, wow. So how many are you expecting to have?
About 12.
Is this going to be musically different than your other albums, or is it?
A lot more urban contemporary. The ballads are going to be very top 40 with a very urban feel. The up-tempos are going to be very, like, I'd say black, but it's going to have a really good dance feel to it.
Yeah. So who are...
Going to definitely cover what Brenda K. Starr loves to do.
Yeah.
Musically, where no one's picking anything for me. I can't say this album's going to be very pop, because it's not.
Yeah. So is that one of the main differences, and this is on your own label, that you have more creative control?
Right.
Can you name any of the people that you're working with on it? Are you allowed to say that?
Yeah, I can. I'm working with Ronnie Ventura. I'm working with Patty Cake Productions,
Okay.
Which is Calvin Gaines and Mark Wilson. I'm going to be doing some stuff with them. We do writing. Sandy Fredrickson is another writer who did an outrageous ballad called Keep It a Secret, and Knock, 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 which is definitely a top 10 record.
Cool.
And hopefully, I just met with Frankie Knuckles last week, and we're supposed to be hooking up to do a club record.
Cool.
Which is very urban club.